Part 79. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi-Sing Cao. Chapter 783. 781. Seeing Zhang Lifang say this, Grandma Wang felt warm in her heart. Okay, I accept it, I'll go inside and put it on, Grandma Wang said with a smile, showing that she likes other people's gifts. Praising or using them on the spot is the most direct way. Grandma Wang went into the house and changed clothes. Zhang Lifang went into the house to help He Tian cook. When she heard that her mother-in-law had given her a gift, she smiled and said, I've also prepared a gift for Grandma Wang. Mom, just watch the pot and turn off the heat after it's boiled. Okay, I'm watching in the kitchen, Zhang Lifang smiled. She also liked Aunt Wang very much compared to her mother-in-law. When she had to work and there was no one to take care of the child, Aunt Wang came to take care of the child. Now I am giving her a grandson, all of this is a favor. Zhang Lifang was very grateful to Aunt Wang. She felt that Aunt Wang was the real mother-in-law, and the mother-in-law in Yanjing was just the one who gave birth to her husband. He Tian entered the room, took the cake to the dining room, and placed it in the middle of the table. Oh, eat cake, Hua Ruiman said in surprise, on your birthday, eat cake. Hua Ruwa followed her sister and looked at the cake box in He Tianatian's hand. Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang brought the food to the dining room table. He Tian opened the box, put a candle on it, and placed the lighter beside it. There are 4 words happy birthday on this cake. He Tian listened and said with a smile, wait a minute, wait for Grandma Wang to blow out the candles, then you can eat the cake. But before eating the cake, you have to say happy birthday to Grandma Wang. Hua Ruiman, Hua Ruwa ran over to find Grandma Wang. Grandma Wang changed into the blue coat bought by Zhang Lifang. It fit well and looked good. Grandma Wang, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Grandma Wang. Hua Ruwa, Hua Ruiman said cheerfully. Okay, Grandma Wang was pulled by 2 children on the left and right, and they came to the dining room together. She was in a good mood and smiled. Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang were already standing by and waiting. Happy birthday, Aunt Wang, Huo Jekan said, I wish you happiness every year and happiness every year. Thank you, Grandma Wang smiled and said, please sit down. He Tian took out an exquisite wooden box, which contained a pair of modern Hessian jade bracelets, which He Tian bought for 600 yuan. Although it is not very expensive, the jade quality is really very good. Grandma Wang, this is my gift to you, He Tian said, see if you like it. Does it suit you? When Grandma Wang saw this, she was even more happy and said, I can receive so many gifts today. We will celebrate your birthday every year from now on. He Tian smiled and said, I wish you a long life. Grandma Wang opened the box, her face was stunned, and she said in surprise, Tian, this bracelet is too expensive, I can't have it, and at my age, I can't dress up fancy. I'd better leave it to you to bring it yourself. He Tian smiled and said, Grandma Wang, this is your birthday gift, just accept it. Zhang Lifang smiled, took the bracelet, put it on Aunt Wang's wrist, and said, Aunt Wang, you are our elder at home. You give us meticulous care, and we will do our best to honor you. Yes, Grandma Wang, look at the gifts I gave to the grandmothers on both sides and to the grandmothers in Kijia village. They didn't refuse them. You are my elder, so don't refuse them either. Grandma Wang was very moved. She took out the handkerchief and wiped her eyes, saying, okay, I'll just take it. He Tian put another bracelet on Grandma Wang, then got up and lit a candle and said, Grandma Wang, blow out the candles and make a wish. Hey, foreigners have many connections on their birthdays. Grandma Wang smiled and followed He Tianatian's instructions, blowing out the candles and making a wish in her heart. Then I'll give you a Chinese-style one next year, and I'll make birthday peaches for you myself, He Tian said with a smile, She made the longevity peaches delicious and beautiful. Grandma Wang, can I have cake? Huo Ruiman ran to Grandma Wang and asked. Today is Grandma Wang's birthday. She is the oldest birthday girl. It is right to ask Grandma Wang. Okay, let's eat the cake, Grandma Wang said with a smile. Tian Tian, hurry up and cut the cake for the child. Okay, Tian Tian agreed, cut it into smaller pieces for the two children, put it in a small bowl, and let them eat it by themselves with a spoon. After that, I gave my father-in-law, mother-in-law, and Grandma Wang a piece each. Give yourself a piece at the end. Master Tang also makes good pastries, and this cake was made by her. Now there are 10 apprentices in the pastry shop, and the business is very good. Especially after the launch of birthday cakes, more than a dozen can be ordered almost every day. However, Chinese dim sum only accounts for 30% of the pastry shop's sales. But I thought that in the future when the economy gets better, I can open some tea houses. At that time, Chinese dim sum may be easier to sell. Finally, Tian Tian took out the photos and took photos for everyone. Grandma Wang was very happy and kept praising Tian Tian. Lai Fang, Tianation's wife here is so nice. When Zhang Lifang sent Grandma Wang back to her room, Grandma Wang said to Zhang Lifang privately. Zhang Lifang smiled and said, yes, it is very good. It is Yingjia's blessing and my blessing. Both mother-in-law and daughter-in-law must understand each other in order to become better and better. Grandma Wang said, okay, it's getting late, you should go back and rest. Thank you, I am very happy today. This is what we should do. Zhang Lifang smiled and helped Grandma Wang lie down before getting up and closing the door to leave. Zhang Lifang and Huo Jekan went back. Tian Tian, that's great, Huo Jekan said, she takes care of everything at home and outside, from top to bottom, old and young. Just now, Aunt Wang praised Tian Tian. Zhang Lifang said, I have good taste. I fell in love with Tian Tian when she was so young. It's true. Shuping, the daughter Jingyu worked so hard to raise is so cheap. Our home. Haha, yes, Huo Jekan said proudly, my work has been carried out steadily with the help of Jingyu and Qi Shuliang. So far, dozens of companies have settled in Nanxi, and this year's goal has been exceeded. Yes, as long as they put it into production and let them make money, they can attract more people. Zhang Lifang said, it will be better for you in a certain way if our family leaves Yanjing. Yes, I have no control over what I do in Yanjing, Huo Jekan said, in Nanxi, I have a certain foundation and the appreciation of the leaders above, so I can easily achieve results. We Yingjis are also good. Yes, if it weren't for the information he gave me, I wouldn't be appreciated by the big boss. Yingjia, Tian Tian is really a match made in heaven, Zhang Lifang said, both are so good, but my son is away from home for several months when he works, which is very bitter for Tian Tian. Comparing my feelings, if you were away from home for half a year, I will definitely miss you. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 784. 782. Huo Jekan smiled and held his wife's hand. Yes, so we have to be nicer to Tian Tian, Huo Jekan said, at the same time, I am also thinking that it is not good for them to be separated as husband and wife when they are young. But Tian Tian has a shop and a job outside, so we can't follow them there. Besides, we can't bear to leave our grandson, but Yingjia can't be transferred back, and I've been worried. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it for the time being, Zhang Lifang said, I hope there won't be any estrangement between the two of them because of their separation. The couple began to worry about their son and daughter-in-law. They didn't do it out of nowhere. The man in a nearby family was working outside and the woman was taking care of the children at home. It was okay at first, but it didn't work anymore. The woman changed her mind, asked for a divorce, and did not want to be with the man. You cannot blame women blindly. You will encounter one thing or another in life. There are some things that women cannot do at all. Moreover, it is very difficult for women to endure the long nights and loneliness. So Zhang Lifang is afraid. Whether it is a son or a daughter-in-law who has a change of heart, it is a disaster for a family. Let's think of a solution. After some time, Huo Jekan said. His father had always had high hopes for Yingzhe, and he could not stop his son's future because of their love for each other. If he Tian knew the worries of her father-in-law and mother-in-law, she would definitely laugh or cry. As long as Huo Yingzhe doesn't betray her, no matter what, she will stay with Huo Yingzhe and will never think of leaving or seeking another career. If you could fall in love with someone else, you would have fallen in love a long time ago, and you don't have to wait until now for Hong Xin to cheat on you. He Tianatian's life has returned to peace, going to class, after school, going to the shop, and going home. On this day, Zhang Mengmeng was waiting on He Tianatian's only path, lowering his head and looking up from time to time. When He Tian pushed her bicycle through this road, Zhang Mengmeng waved. Zhang Mengmeng, are you okay? He Tian stopped and looked at the time. He would go to work in half an hour. Don't you want to go to work today? Zhang Mengmeng nodded and said, Teacher I'll go right away. Oh, if you have something to say, please tell me quickly, so as not to get to work late and get a kickback in wages. He Tian smiled. She also wanted to go to the shop early, pick up some things, and go home early. Zhang Mengmeng hesitated to speak, her face was red and she hesitated. What's wrong? He Tian was surprised. This cute girl has always been very generous. What happened today? Seems hard to say. Zhang Mengmeng mustered up her courage, raised her head and looked at He Tian, and asked, Teacher can you tell me what it feels like to like someone? After saying this, Zhang Mengmeng hurriedly lowered her head as if she had lost all courage, not daring to look at He Tianatian's expression. Ah, He Tian was surprised, then laughed again, haha, so that's what happened. You are already an adult, you can have someone you like. Teacher aren't you disappointed? Zhang Mengmeng said cautiously, I didn't study hard during school, so I probably fell in love with someone, but I'm not sure. I want to ask teacher Haha, He Tian smiled, your grades are very good now. Your teacher praised you a few days ago. Also, you are an adult and can be responsible for your own actions, so you like someone very much. It's normal. Why are you disappointed? As for the feeling of liking someone, you often think of him unconsciously, you want to see him after not seeing him for a long time, and when you see him, your heart beats faster and your face becomes red and hot. Well, let me think about it. Yes, anyway, I am just a little worried and feel that others are not as good as him. Following He Tianatian's words, Zhang Mengmeng's eyes lit up. She seemed to have everything. Teacher, he said. I want to see that person appear every day, and when I see him, I can sleep peacefully at night. If that person didn't come one day, she would always wonder, is he too busy? Is he too tired? Did something happen? If you don't see her for several days in a row, you will feel worried and can't sleep well. As long as that person appears, her heart beats faster involuntarily, her face turns red and hot, and she feels that he is the best man in the world. If that person is in a good mood and smiles at her, she will feel that the air around her is colorful. Teacher, I might have fallen in love with a man, Zhang Mengmeng whispered. Her parents were thousands of miles away and couldn't help her at all. She was too embarrassed to tell the classmates around her. After thinking about it, she thought of teacher He Tian smiled and said, first of all, does that person have good character? If the character is not good, no matter how good a man is, you can't want him. Secondly, does that man like you? If he likes you too, you can try once again. The teacher wants to tell you that love is not everything in life, and liking it does not mean that we can be together in the future. No matter what, you must protect yourself and cherish yourself. Zhang Mengmeng nodded and said, I've written it down. Seeing that Zhang Mengmeng was not going to talk about anyone, He Tiantian didn't ask. This was Zhang Mengmeng's privacy. As a teacher, he had already done his duty. Okay, then you go to work, He Tiantian said. We happen to be together, and I also want to go to the shop. Yes, Zhang Mengmeng smiled. Teacher He, how did you and your husband get together? Do you like him? Do you love him? He Tiantian was a little embarrassed when her own student asked, but facing Zhang Mengmeng's clear and searching eyes, she had to answer. He Tiantian thought for a while, organized her words, and said slowly, my husband and I grew up together and were childhood sweethearts. We liked and fell in love with each other, and we naturally came together. Zhang Mengmeng was envious that teacher He was good looking, had a good family background, was smart, and could make money. The man who attracted teacher He's heart was a noble son. The employees in the shop often talk privately about the talent of men and the beauty of women. In Zhang Mengmeng's eyes, it is a fairy tale. You are so lucky, Zhang Mengmeng said with envy, being able to meet the right person at the right time and the right place. Lucky? He Tiantian smiled. Maybe. You are lucky to be reborn. You are lucky to have the help of the Snake King. We are lucky to be able to trust each other and meet again. Well, you can also find happiness if you stay calm when things happen and don't forget your original intention, He Tiantian said, encouraging Zhang Mengmeng. Zhang Mengmeng seemed to understand, but still nodded and said, I've written it down, teacher He. I'm going to work, see you, teacher He. Zhang Mengmeng went to the back to change into work clothes, while He Tiantian went to the office. Thinking about Zhang Mengmeng's appearance, He Tiantian felt that youth was so good. Maybe it was the memory of the previous life and the suffering of this life, but He Tiantian no longer had much impression of ignorant love. Now there is only deep longing. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 785. 783. He Tiantian came out of the shop with a lot of things in her hands, and happened to see Qi Zhengan buying snacks. He Tiantian was a little surprised. This seemed to be the second time she met Qi Zhengan at the Sanfenqiao store in the south of the city. Logically speaking, the place where Qi Zhengan lives and works is relatively close to the shop at Sanfenqiao headquarters. That's where to buy snacks. How could you give up the near and seek the far away? Strangeness. He Tiantian watched carefully for a minute or two, and found that Zhang Mengmeng's eyes looked at Qi Zhengan as if they were filled with pink bubbles, and the smile on his face was bright, shy, rosy, and shiny. At the same time, Qi Zhengan also smiled warmly. Wait, this picture reminded He Tiantian of what Zhang Mengmeng said to her today, that she fell in love with someone. This person couldn't be Qi Zhengan, right? If you look carefully, your eyes, expressions, and body language cannot deceive anyone. Qi Zhengan is the person Zhang Mengmeng likes. Qi Zhengan smiled, and it must be a bit interesting to come here to buy something at a distance. He Tiantian wanted to step forward, but she remembered that Qi Zhengan had confessed to her before. Although he might like someone else now, He Tiantian didn't seem to be suitable to come forward at this time, so he didn't want to disturb Qi Zhengan. He Tiantian carried her things and left, as if she hadn't seen Qi Zhengan. Teacher He, goodbye, Zhang Mengmeng said sweetly, waving goodbye to He Tiantian. Teacher Ho? Qi Zhengan was stunned and turned around to see He Tiantian. He Tiantian had to stop, turned around and said, goodbye. Tiantian, Qi Zhengan shouted, I didn't expect to meet you today. Hey, brother Qi, are you passing by here? He Tiantian pretended to have just seen Qi Zhengan, with a surprised expression. Qi Zhengan smiled, Didn't he and He Tian know that what they were doing now was exaggerated? Was she hiding the fact that she saw him and didn't want to talk to him? Yeah, I'll take you back. Qi Zhengan carried the things, paid the money, and said to Zhang Mengmeng, thank you. No need, He Tian said, I rode over here. By the way, go back and tell Jinmin that I will ask her to go shopping this weekend. If you are free, come to my house at 9 o'clock in the morning on the weekend. Okay, Qi Zhengan agreed and watched He Tian leave. After He Tian left, Qi Zhengan turned to look at Zhang Mengmeng. Zhang Mengmeng, who was looking at Qi Zhengan's back, happened to be caught by Qi Zhengan's gaze. Zhang Mengmeng was a little panicked and immediately started working, as if erasing a hole in the glass on the counter, lowering her head to hide her gaff. Qi Zhengan smiled, turned, and left. Although it was lingering in his mind, Qi Zhengan also knew that he needed a different kind of love. Seeing Qi Zhengan's car leaving, Zhang Mengmeng's nervousness gradually disappeared. Can't see him, want to see him. I saw him, but I was afraid of seeing him. What a contradiction. Zhang Mengmeng frowned, the girl was pregnant and flustered. Does he like Teacher He? Every time I see Teacher He, there is always more sparkle in that person's eyes, which is not there when he looks at her. But Zhang Mengmeng could also see that Teacher He was distancing himself from him. Yes, Teacher He is already married. He is a married woman. Moreover, Teacher He and his wife have such a good relationship, they will definitely not. Yes, definitely not. Thinking of this, Zhang Mengmeng's mood improved inexplicably. On the road, He Tian was thinking while riding a bicycle. He Tian is relieved that Qi Zhengan can have a new relationship, and I believe the Qi family is also happy to see it happen. It's just that the target is Zhang Mengmeng. It's not that Zhang Mengmeng is a bad girl, but Qi Zhengan and Zhang Mengmeng grew up in different environments. Qi Zhengan can start a relationship and end a relationship without repercussions. But what about Zhang Mengmeng? She is a traditional Chinese girl, serious, diligent and persistent. Falling in love with someone may last a lifetime. Getting married eventually is the best. If not, it will cause harm. Oops, feelings are the most complicated things in the world. He Tian is a little dizzy. Forget it, she just needs to take care of her own life, let Yu Lao pull the red line for other people's, and she won't get involved. Back home, the two little darlings gave their mother a kiss of love. Listening to the children's childlike words, all He Tian's worries disappeared. On weekends, Qi Zhenmin came over early in the morning. Sister Tian, aren't you going shopping? How can you go shopping with two ga bang beans, Qi Zhenmin said with disgust. Apart from work, she has no friends here. It's rare that Sister Tian invites her to go shopping. And two light bulbs. Hua Ruimin was young, but she could hear Qi Zhenmin's dislike and said, Aunt Damon, baby Xiaomin doesn't like you anymore. Oops, Qi Zhenmin bent down and pinched Hua Ruimin's little face, haha, baby Xiaomin doesn't like Aunt Damon, then Aunt Damon will take baby Xiaohua to the zoo. When she heard that she was going to the zoo, Hua Ruimin became anxious. She hugged Qi Zhenmin's thigh and said, Aunt Damon, you are the most beautiful and the best. Baby Xiaomin likes you the most. Okay, since you are so sweet talking, I will forgive you, Qi Zhenmin said, I won't go shopping today. Aunt Damon and mother will take you to the zoo. Okay, Hua Ruimin and Hua Ruwa were very happy. Let's get in the car, Qi Zhenmin said. She also had a car. It was more convenient to drive here and go out for fun. He Tian has prepared water, food, toilet paper, etc. Okay, let's go, He Tian said with a smile. Huo Yingzhe was not at home, and her father-in-law and mother-in-law were busy all day long. It was a rare Sunday, so she didn't want to trouble them and let them have a good rest at home. Qi Zhenmin is He Tian's best young man. After getting into the car, He Tian sat in the back with her two children while Qi Jinmin drove. Sister Tian, do you know that my brother may be in love? Qi Jinmin asked. Various signs showed that she concluded that her brother was in love. In love? He Tian snickered. She also knew who Qi Zhengan was in love with. However, she won't say it. If Qi Zhengan wanted to say something, he would definitely tell Qi Jinmin himself. How do I know? He Tian smiled. You usually work with your brother, so you should know. My brother is always snickering, and he often buys some snacks to bring home, which are not what I like to eat, Qi Jinmin said, pouting. I got all the snacks from the company and shared them with other people. Haha, your brother is not young anymore, and it's time for him to fall in love and marry a wife, he Tian persuaded. Don't think so wildly. I don't see you, Grandma and Uncle Qi, want to hold a grandson. I'm so excited to think about it. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 786. 784. Upon hearing this, Qi Jinmin couldn't help laughing. What you said is true, Qi Jinmin smiled. When my grandmother was in Nanji, she often talked about my brother. My father? Mom also said that as long as one has a clean family background, good character, and good health, brothers love each other. As long as they have a common language, there are no other requirements. Well, your family is already rich and powerful, so there is no need for marriage to bring benefits. This way brother Qi will have a chance to find his true love. He Tian smiled, feeling inexplicably happy. Hey, I hope so. Qi Jinmin looked at He Tian in the rearview mirror. My brother likes Sister Tian very much, but Sister Tian falls in love with someone else. Falling flowers are intentional and flowing water is ruthless. If the eldest brother can find true love, that would be the best. She can't control her brother's feelings, so she should silently bless her brother. At the zoo, He Tian looked after the children, while Qi Jinmin went to buy tickets. Mom, did you bring your camera? Hua Ruwa asked. Tell Mom, what animal does Ruwa want to take a photo with? He Tian squatted down and asked in a low voice. I want to take a photo with the deer, Hua Ruwa said softly. Is that okay? Okay, He Tian smiled and nodded in agreement. Mom, I will take some more pictures for you later. Mom, I want to take a photo with a tiger, a leopard, a bear. Hua Ruiman said excitedly. Her voice was a little loud, her expression was exaggerated, and her hands were gesticulating. He Tian couldn't laugh or cry after hearing this. Her son is as quiet as a little girl, but her daughter is like a lively and active boy. Don't they say that twins have similar temperaments? Isn't this too big of a difference? Mom, won't you take a photo for me? Hua Ruiman asked when her mother didn't answer. This was the children's legitimate request. He Tian couldn't refuse, so she nodded and said, okay, Mom will take the picture for you. Qi Jinmin had already bought the ticket and came over, leading one child to the zoo. Autumn is crisp, the weather is just right, and the temperature is just right. It's a good time to travel and have fun. Once inside, He Tian took pictures of the children, and asked Qi Jinmin to take pictures of the three of them. He could take more pictures and send them to his family abroad and Huo Yingjia, who was working hard in the unit. Today is the weekend and there are many people here to play. The two children were also very excited, but their calves were weak and they couldn't walk. After a short walk they had to be held by He Tian and Qi Jinmin. Today I saw lions, tigers, bears, and deer, so many animals. How about we go over there to rest, drink some water, and eat something? He Tian asked. She was feeling better, so she hugged her child and left. I got a little tired after half an hour. It was better that she was strong, but Qi Jinmin was already sweating profusely. Okay, Hua Ruiman said, Mom, I want to eat chocolate. I want to eat red bean rolls, Hua Ruwa said. Okay, mom brought it. He Tian Tian smiled and patted the big bag behind her. When I arrived at the rest area, I found a bench to sit on, and then took out a lot of things from my bag. First, use a dry towel with some water to wipe the children's hands, and then give them something to eat and water to drink. Jinmin, do you want to eat? He Tian Tian asked, handing Chi Jinmin a red bean roll. Chi Jinmin wiped his hands and took it and said, I must eat something to replenish energy. Holding a child is more tiring than running in the morning. Haha, thank you for your hard work. He Tian Tian smiled and said, when you have children, you will get used to it. Hey, child, Chi Jinmin complained extremely sadly, I don't know when my lover will show up. Hearing this, He Tian Tian became curious and asked, Jinmin, have you ever liked anyone? Like it? Chi Jinmin's voice was a little high, a boy. Ah, He Tian Tian was stunned, you like girls. Chi Jinmin smiled mischievously, stretched out his fingers and said, yes, girls are fragrant and soft, much better than smelly men. Yeah, He Tian Tian was stunned and thought for a moment, Jinmin, as for me, I don't discriminate against extraordinary relationships, but I am already married, and I like men. Haha, Chi Jinmin saw He Tian Tian being so solemn, I'm lying to you, I also like boys, but he doesn't like me. After graduating from college, I returned to China. He Tian Tian suddenly realized that Chi Jinmin was fooling her. Where is that boy? He Tian Tian asked, where is he from? He is a Frenchman with dark green eyes that seem to be able to see through people's hearts. Chi Jinmin said, just like the blue Danube River, I like it very much. Why doesn't he like you? He Tian Tian was curious. In her heart, Chi Jinmin was a very beautiful Oriental woman, kind and intellectual. Chi Jinmin smiled and said, how should I put it? He also likes me a little, but he also likes other women. In my heart, I can only accept exclusive love. He can't give it to me, so I left. Oh, just think about it this way, He Tian Tian said, if you can't accept it, then don't do it. It's better than forcing each other, hurting each other, and having to let go in the end. Well, I think so too, Chi Jinmin said, it's not that I don't want to fight for it, but when I saw the way he looked at me, it was the same as other women's. It was a look of lust, not love or cherishment, and I knew it. Such a person is destined not to be the person I marry. At that time, I was very sad. I was traveling alone and saw how far the sky was. I thought about how small I was, so I felt relieved. Haha, my little Jinmin has grown up. Don't worry about you anymore, He Tian Tian smiled and said, I believe sister, you are so good, you will definitely be able to find a love that suits you. I know, and I have always believed it, Chi Jinmin said, that was the first time I really fell in love with someone except having a crush on a senior in junior high school. Although it is unforgettable, I can also let it go. Don't worry, when fate comes, nothing can stop it, He Tian Tian smiled, if you don't forget your original intention, you can always find the love that suits you. Thank you for your good words from Sister Tian Tian, Chi Jinmin said with a smile, she firmly believed in this. Her parents' love for each other, her grandmother's strong support, and Sister Tianation's persistence in love are all her role models. At this moment, Chi Jinmin looked through He Tian Tian into the distance. Because the distance was a bit far, she could only squint her eyes against the sunlight, trying to see clearly. Sister Tian Tian, look, is that person my brother? Chi Jinmin asked, the one in the blue windbreaker. By the way, there seems to be a woman beside him, pointing at the animals in the yard, let my brother see it. He Tian Tian turned around and saw the two people Chi Jinmin was talking about. Her eyes were much better than Chi Jinmin's. Like a radar, she could tell immediately that it was Chi Zhengan, and she could even see the girl's profile clearly. I recommend Xian Anting's Rebirth of the Strong and Cute Girl. The powerful King Kong Lolita brings a rice bag and a most handsome husband, and together they make a fortune and conquer the world. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 787. 785. It was exactly as she guessed, it was Zhang Mengmeng. It seems so. He Tian smiled and turned his head. Qi Zhenmin stood up and was about to confirm. Hey, He Tian grabbed Qi Zhenmin, why are you going? I have to see what kind of girls my brother likes and see if they are suitable. Qi Zhenmin was a little excited, even a little gossipy, and a little impatient. Haha, He Tian smiled, wait a minute, listen to me. If that's not your brother, you don't have to go there. If it's your brother, then you can't go there. Think about it, your brother has had a hard time when you go out on a date with a girl, your brother will definitely feel uncomfortable if you show up. In this case, you should not be the one who beats the Mandarin ducks and delays your brother's date. Qi Zhenmin felt itchy in his heart. He felt that what He Tian said made sense, but he couldn't help but want to take a look. Finally, after weighing the pros and cons, Qi Zhenmin nodded and said, okay, I'd better not go then. My brother is a very weird person. If I go there, I might really cause damage. In fact, Qi Zhenmin didn't say the real reason. If she were alone, Qi Zhenmin would go there without hesitation. However, there is He Tian beside him, this woman who was once deeply loved by his brother. What if my brother sees Sister Tian and thinks that Sister Tian is good but the girl next to him is not good? Wouldn't it be like trying to draw water from a bamboo basket in vain? That's right, let's go and pack our things. Let's take the child to the toilet for convenience, He Tian said and left. After the children went to the toilet and washed their hands, they continued playing. By coincidence, while watching giraffes, I met Qi Zhenmin and Zhang Mengmeng. Teacher Zhang Mengmeng told Teacher He just a few days ago that she liked a man, and this weekend she met Teacher He when they went on a date. These 2 tickets are benefits issued by the company. Everyone else came last month, but no one wants them this month. Zhang Mengmeng took 2 tickets and tentatively invited Qi Zhengan. Unexpectedly, Qi Zhengan actually agreed. At the same time, Zhang Mengmeng was also glad in her heart. He agreed. Does that mean he also likes her? With a feeling of anxiety and joy, Zhang Mengmeng waited until Qi Zhengan picked her up and went to the zoo together. It was her first time at the zoo and she was very excited to see these animals for the first time. The man next to him, although he didn't show any excitement, kept smiling. Maybe, he really likes her a little bit. Zhang Mengmeng sometimes feels that she is a bit shameless and shameless. Just after the awkward atmosphere between the 2 disappeared, they unexpectedly met Teacher He, as well as Teacher He's friends and children. Haha, what a coincidence, He Tian smiled, keep watching, we are going there. Qi Zhenmin saw clearly a girl standing next to his brother. She was quite beautiful, but why did she feel familiar? Qi Zhengan was also a little embarrassed on his face. He didn't know what to say. He was no longer as calm and gentle as Jade at the beginning. Yes, brother, Sister Tian and I are going to see the fish. Seeing his brother's embarrassment, Qi Zhenmin felt that he could not stay any longer. You. Qi Zhengan wanted to persuade him to stay, but He Tian and Qi Zhenmin ran away with the child in their arms. Only Qi Zhengan and Zhang Mengmeng, who were a little embarrassed, were left. After a while, Zhang Mengmeng whispered, Mr. Qi, who is the little girl next to Teacher He? Qi Zhenmin has 3-dimensional facial features and is particularly beautiful. She is my sister, Qi Zhengan replied, she doesn't know I'm here today, so don't think too much about it. Yeah, Zhang Mengmeng smiled when she heard Qi Zhengan say that that was his sister. Come on, let's continue to see the giraffes, and I'll take pictures for you, Qi Zhengan said, turning to look at the shy and timid Zhang Mengmeng. There is something similar about her. There are also many differences between her and her. He Tian would never show such expressions and eyes to him. Unknowingly, Qi Zhengan's mind was filled with Zhang Mengmeng and He Tiantian. He couldn't figure it out, so Qi Zhengan felt that he was letting things go and was no longer restrained. If not, he worries that he may have some kind of mental illness and become a pervert. He Tiantian and Qi Zhenmin walked far away before stopping. Why is it such a coincidence? Qi Zhenmin panted, even if we run fast, my elder brother will definitely be embarrassed. Qi Zhenmin understood that it was not the embarrassment facing her sister, but the sweet sister beside him. Hey, big brother, I still haven't forgotten Sister Tiantian. Sister Tiantian? Qi Zhenmin's eyes suddenly widened. She finally remembered why she felt that the girl looked familiar when she saw her for the first time. She was obviously very similar to Sister Tiantian. Thinking of this, Qi Zhenmin became even more panicked. Yeah, what a coincidence, He Tiantian said, it's getting late, let's go back and have dinner. Yeah, Qi Zhenmin agreed without saying his guess. She didn't want her brother to become a shameless person in Sister Tianatian's heart, and she didn't want Sister Tiantian to feel bad about it. I found a newly opened restaurant, and it tastes very good, Qi Zhenmin said, I will take you to try it today. Okay, He Tiantian said, you treat me, I'll pay for it. Okay, Qi Zhenmin said angrily, it's not like I don't have money. Don't worry, I still have some money to treat you to dinner. Packed up things and got in the car. Qi Zhenmin looked at He Tiantian in the rearview mirror. Sister Tiantian did not feel uncomfortable seeing her brother on a date. That's good. If Sister Tiantian is confused and follows her brother into mischief, something big will happen. Huo Yingjia, a man with such a strong possessiveness, would definitely cause chaos and even kill someone. A slap can't make a difference, Sister Tiantian doesn't respond to her brother's love, and I believe her brother can't do that kind of thing to win love with a sword. But, what does it mean to find a girl who is somewhat similar to Sister Tiantian? Substitute? Oh, how sad. She is obviously the younger sister, why do you want to worry about this mother-in-law? I really want my grandmother and parents to be around and not have her sister to worry about. Sister Tiantian, do you know the girl who is dating my brother? Qi Zhenmin asked. The more he thought about it, the more he felt something was wrong and couldn't help but ask for some information about that girl. I know her, He Tiantian said, she was my student during my internship last semester. She had very good grades, was very smart, and was very strong. Her family conditions were not good, so she went out to look for temporary workers, so I hired her into my shop. She now works 3 hours every night at Sanfenqiao in the south of the city. Almost all the money she earns is sent to her family. She is currently writing a novel, and I believe that with her literary talent, it will be published by a publisher. Oh, that's indeed a good girl, Qi Zhenmin nodded. It would be great if she could be self-reliant and filial to her family. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 788. 786. It's just Qi Zhenmin who is worried. At noon, we had dinner at a newly opened restaurant. It tasted really good. He Tiantian also packed 4 authentic braised lion heads, which were as big as a man's fist. That's how He Tiantian is. If she eats delicious food outside, she will bring it to her family. Normally, Qi Zhenmin would take care of her, but now her thoughts are with Qi Zhengan and Zhang Mengmeng. She hopes to go back soon. She has many questions and asks her brother for answers. After dinner, Qi Zhenmin sent He Tiantian and the 2 children home, and then she left and drove home quickly. He Tiantian could tell that Qi Zhenmin had something on his mind, and it was hard to stop or persuade him, especially if it was related to Qi Zhengan, so she was not prepared to ask any more questions. Once you are married, you must have the consciousness of being married. Back home, Chi Jinmin has been sitting on the sofa in the living room, waiting for his brother to come home. It wasn't until 6:30 in the evening that Chi Zhengan was waited for back. Have you eaten? Chi Zhengan asked. I have some snacks here, do you want to eat them? Chi Jinmin put down the magazine in his hand, took the snack, and said, thank you, brother. Didn't you have dinner? Chi Zhengan asked, has someone made you a bowl of noodles? No need, brother, Chi Jinmin said, don't you have anything to tell me today? Chi Zhengan was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, as you can see, I am dating a girl. Dating? My brother admitted it. Originally, I should be happy when you meet the woman you love, but I'm a little worried, Chi Jinmin said softly, looking at Chi Zhengan, trying to see something from his brother's expression. What are you worried about? Chi Zhengan smiled, my brother is older than you, so don't worry about me. Chi Jinmin thought for a while, and since he said it, let's just say it. Brother, do you really like that girl? Chi Jinmin asked. Her brother is so good, and she doesn't want him to become a man who always gives up. I'm a little excited, Chi Zhengan nodded. Now he often thinks of Jiang Mengmeng, so he probably likes her. Is it because she looks like Sister Tian Tian? Chi Jinmin asked. She really didn't want to get a positive answer and looked at her brother nervously. Like he Tian Tian? At first, it was indeed because she looked like he Tian Tian that I would look at her more and go there more times. Do you think so too? Chi Zhengan asked, is it really similar? Yes, they are very similar, at least 4/4 of the same, Chi Jinmin said. If you approach her just because she looks like Sister Tian Tian, that is not love, it is just a substitute, and it will harm yourself in the future. Harming people, Chi Jinmin persuaded, hoping that his brother could see his mind clearly. Chi Zhengan smiled, stepped forward and touched his sister's head, and said, Jinmin, thank you for caring about me. At first, I got close to Jiang Mengmeng because she looked like he Tian Tian. I wanted to see more of the same thing because I wanted to meet he Tian Tian. Sweet, but there is no excuse. But in the past few months, I have found that I think of he Tian Tian less and less, and there is more of Jiang Mengmeng in my mind. I don't know if this is love, and I don't know how long it will last. But I want to try. If I don't try, I will never get out. Although Chi Zhengan's voice was gentle, it was like thunder in Chi Jinmin's ears. Chi Jinmin hugged his brother and choked with sobs, brother, I'm sorry. If she said something like that, my brother would definitely be sad. The feeling of not being able to love is very painful. She's been there, she knows how it feels. She thought about it and was relieved, so she was relieved. My brother has been in love with Sister Tian Tian for a long time, but he has never been able to let her go. You are doing it for my own good. Chi Zhengan patted his sister on the back, you have grown so big and you still cry, so you are not afraid of your brother laughing at you. As long as brother is good, you can make fun of me no matter what, Chi Jinmin said coquettishly. Brother, I am very happy that you are willing to try and come out. I could do it back then, and my brother is so powerful, so he must be able to do it. Well, I'll try my best, Chi Zhengan said seriously, with a gentle expression. Chi Jinmin wiped away her tears and said, brother, don't have an intimate relationship with that girl before you are sure of your feelings. This is not the United States, nor is it Paris, this is China, and girls are very conservative. I know, Chi Zhengan said, I want to find a wife who knows and loves me, not a tool to vent my sexual desires. Seeing that his brother could say such serious things, Chi Jinmin stopped worrying and chose to believe his brother. Chi Zhengan returned to the house, lay on the bed, closed his eyes and rested. He Tian Tian? Jiang Mengmeng? Every word and deed of the two people flashed in Chi Zhengan's mind. He noticed a lot of differences. He Tian Tian is very beautiful, very attractive and sincere towards others, but because her heart has been given to a man, she has closed her heart and turned a blind eye to the love of outside suitors. She only has family affection and friendship. So from the beginning, Qi Zhengan understood that he had never really walked into He Tiantian. He Tianatian's heart and actions also resisted his approach. There is nothing but family and friendship. Sometimes, he would feel that He Tianatian's heart was made of stone, extremely hard. Zhang Mengmeng is in love at first glance, and she expresses everything through her eyes, expressions, and body language. She would secretly observe him. She would secretly think about him. She will secretly like him. That kind of pure eyes, timid yet passionate admiration, made Qi Zhengan yearn for it. So he loosened up and wanted to get closer. I want to seize this light and throbbing, and get out of the obsession of not getting what I want. Let it go. After He Tiantian returned home, she forgot about today's events because she was too busy and had some account books to read and homework corrections. She can't even handle her own affairs, so she doesn't have the energy to care about other people's affairs. However, in the next few days, when Zhang Mengmeng met He Tiantian at school, she would blush and run away secretly like a child who had done something bad. Zhang Mengmeng is an adult and has her own way of thinking and her own freedom. He Tiantian will not interfere. As the new head teacher, He Tiantian has many things to do. However, in order to train students and to share the work, most of the work will be delegated to students. Sometimes things are done well, sometimes things are not done perfectly, but He Tiantian will not be angry. If something is done well, He Tiantian will praise it. If something is not done well, He Tiantian will analyze it with everyone and find a more reasonable method. In this way, both teachers and students can improve. At the same time, He Tiantian also encourages students to write, submit articles, and even create novels. A class is divided into several groups. Everyone can choose what they like and are good at and complete their own works. At the same time, He Tiantian found several teachers to serve as judges, select the best ones, reward them, and recommend them for publication. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 789. 787. Because He Tiantian was the initiator and also provided some financial support, this event had a huge impact on Class 1 of the 80th grade Chinese department. While everyone is studying seriously, some people who like to create began to write novels seriously, writing down some ideas and plots. Maybe it won't be published, maybe it won't be famous, but the students will get exercise. On this day, He Tiantian was reading the manuscript that everyone asked to hand in. Some articles are very good, others are average. A student named Tang Pingan knocked on the door and came in. This student usually doesn't like to talk, but his grades are very good. However, the articles I submitted these few times were like compositions, and there was nothing outstanding about them. However, this is an extracurricular activity, and it all depends on the student's consciousness. He Tiantian doesn't want to interfere too much. Maybe Tang Pingan is not interested in this and is not forcing it. Come in, He Tiantian said softly and raised his head. Tang Pingan came in. Teacher hello, I wrote a novel, but it's not a traditional novel, it's a leisure book. Tang Pingan finally took out a thick stack of books from his back. The book is bound with manuscript paper, has a somewhat nervous expression, and has some covers. Xianchu, He Tiantian was stunned. As long as it's not pornographic or political, it doesn't matter. It's okay, let me take a look. By the way, what subject matter are you writing about? Tang Pingan's face was a little red, but now that he was here, he decided to speak out his thoughts. If he didn't say it this time, he wouldn't have the courage. After all, in order to have the courage, Tang Pingan had thought about it for several days and encouraged himself before he dared to come. Tang Pingan handed the book to He Tiantian, and then whispered, "This is a martial arts novel written by me. This is an idle book, and he is worried that the teacher will dislike him for not doing his job properly. He Tian was stunned and said with a smile, "Oh, I like to read martial arts novels." Mr. Liang Kikeo once said that a great chivalrous person serves the country and the people. A small chivalrous person serves as a friend or neighbor. Teacher have you read martial arts novels? Tang Pingan was stunned. Many people had not read it, so when he heard that teacher he had read it, he was a little surprised. He Tian smiled and said, "I have a friend in Xiangjiang who will send me some books, including a martial arts novel. It is very exciting and I like it very much. By the way, why did you think of writing a martial arts novel? What is your original intention?" Haha, Tang Pingan scratched his head. "I have relatives who smuggled themselves to Xiangjiang before. Now they can travel normally, so they come back often and bring back many martial arts novels. I like them very much. I studied hard and got admitted to the Chinese department. I want to write my own martial arts novel in the future and make it into a TV series." "Yeah, well, the idea is good," he Tian smiled. "I've written it down and I'll look at it first. If it's good, I can submit it for you." "Can I really get Xiangjiang to submit my manuscript?" Tang Pingan asked in surprise, somewhat unbelievable. "Haha," he Tian smiled, "if you write well, of course you can. Don't worry, I will take a look first to see if there is anything that needs to be modified, or I will help you find someone to comment and modify it. Let's submit again. Otherwise, if you don't win if you submit it rashly, wouldn't it be very demotivating?" Tang Pingan thought about it, smiled honestly, and said, "Thank you, teacher, I understand." "Well," he Tian nodded, "actually, if you think about it, it's not just martial arts novels that can be made into TV series. Some biographies of historical figures are also very good. For example, Taizong of the Tang Dynasty, Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty, Spring and Autumn period, the Warring States, Song, Jin, Yuan, Ming and Qing dynasties have many wonderful characters. If these characters can be brought to life through some stories, the costumes, life details, interests, etc. in the stories can make the characters more full. It's also a very good idea." After hearing this, Tang Pingan's eyes lit up. He nodded and said, "Thank you, teacher I have a lot of ideas in my mind." "Okay, work hard and you will succeed," he Tian encouraged, putting Tang Pingan's manuscript in his bag. Tang Pingan left excitedly, hands and feet, and left the office lightly. He Tian packed up her things, finished the work at hand, and had half an hour to go before getting off work, so she took out Tang Pingan's manuscript and looked at it. "Ah, this guy writes well. The manuscript is very neat and has obviously been copied from scratch. The beginning is not bad and the plot is also good. This kid has a future." Before I knew it, it was 6 o'clock. "Isn't teacher he off work yet?" Teacher he was always the first to leave the office in the past. "Why is he so fascinated today?" "Ah," he Tian was stunned, "it's already time to get off work, so I have to go back quickly. I'll be late when I get home, and the two children will make a fuss. Before leaving, I didn't forget to put the manuscript into my bag, take out the book I packed before, and stop reading. I'll just read this today." After he Tian had eaten and put her child to sleep, she took out the manuscript and continued reading. "I watched Grandma Wang get up at 12:30 at night. She saw there were lights in He Tianatian's house, so she came over to take a look. Seeing that He Tian was still reading, Grandma Wang reminded, 'Tian, go to bed early and stop reading.' He Tian nodded and said, 'Yeah, I know Grandma Wang, I'll go to bed right away.' After staying up for 10 nights without sleeping, you are so young and don't know how to take care of your body." Grandma Wang was dissatisfied and felt that the young man did not take care of his body. "Oh, I got it." He Tian came out, helped Grandma Wang get up at night, sent Grandma Wang to the house, and then went back to the house to sleep. He Tian closed her eyes and kept recalling what she had just seen, which was very colorful. Oops, Tang Pingan is such a talent. I think about it every day and dream about it at night. He Tian dreamed at night that she would become a chivalrous heroine. Of course, the male protagonist was directly replaced by He Tian in Huo Yingji's appearance. The situation in the world, the grievances and hatreds. It was bloody and full of ups and downs. He Tian had a colorful and long dream, as if she was enjoying the love between her children. When he woke up the next day, He Tian could still recall the scene in his dream. Haha, it's interesting, He Tian smiled. After reading it, I will polish it a little and then send it out. He Tian packed up the manuscript and took it to school. When he has free time, he can read it and finish it as soon as possible. At the same time, classmate Tang Pingan became more confident because of He Tian's praise. During class, he dared to raise his head and listen to the class. Tang Pingan has been writing well. If nothing unexpected happens, he will definitely become a famous martial arts novelist. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 790. 788. A few days later, He Tian finally finished reading. He Tian wanted to revise it, but found that she didn't know how to revise it, so she only corrected a few typos and punctuation marks. Maybe because He Tian had been praising this book these days, Huo Jekan was also very curious. Tian, it's really as good as you said, why don't you show it to me? Huo Jekan said, I can also give you some advice on your students. Okay, He Tian smiled, but this is a manuscript, when you read it, be careful not to damage it. Huo Jekan nodded and said, okay. After Huo Jekan took it, he liked it very much and read it until late at night. If Zhang Lifang hadn't been angry, Huo Jekan would probably have stayed up late to read it, which shows the appeal of her novel. The next morning, Zhang Lifang asked, Tian, that book is so good. Your father-in-law read it until midnight yesterday. If I hadn't gotten angry, he would have read it. He's old, and when he doesn't sleep, his dark circles are particularly obvious. Huo Jekan, who was eating breakfast opposite, looked a little embarrassed. He smiled and said, I haven't seen such a good novel for a long time. You see, I usually read documents and have a rare pastime. You should say less to me and don't stay up late in the future. That's about right. Zhang Lifang stopped. She couldn't keep ridiculing her husband in front of her daughter-in-law. Dad, do you think this book is good too? He Tian asked, wanting to hear Huo Jekan's advice. Huo Jekan nodded and said, well, very good, very good. It is well connected and the characters are vivid. It is better than the novels I read before. By the way, who wrote this? A student in my class. He Tian said proudly, there are writing activities in our class. Many people use their spare time to write. Several people have published their works in newspapers and magazines. Not bad, Huo Jekan said, now the cultural field has been liberalized. Although it is not as flourishing as the spring and autumn period, there are many excellent works that have emerged and enriched the cultural market. Yes, me too, I think so, He Tian said, with so many outstanding people, we can't all become officials. Some people must be engaged in cultural undertakings. By the way, Dad, do you think I should send this book to Hong Kong and prepare to submit it? Huo Jekan thought for a while and said, hey, there are no newspapers or magazines in China that publish this kind of novels. It's not bad to submit it to Hong Kong. Let's try it. Maybe it can be published. I think so too, He Tian smiled. This was the first time that He Tian was a class teacher. She hoped that the students in her class could give full play to their strengths and have a broader development space in the future. After getting affirmation from her father-in-law, He Tian began to work. These manuscripts were written by Tang Pingan stroke by stroke. He Tian was reluctant to mail them out, and went to the library to copy them. He Tian roughly calculated that the stack of martial arts novels with a total of 100,000 words only wrote one-third of the content, and the handwriting was neat and could be submitted. He Tian went to the library and spent 5 yuan to copy the stack of manuscripts, and then bound them neatly. He Tian called Tang Pingan to the office and said, "Tang Pingan, this is your manuscript, take it back first. I have read it and it is very well written. You have to continue with the creation later." When Tang Pingan heard He Tian asking him to take the manuscript back, he felt like he was in an ice cellar, thinking that he could not submit it because his writing was not good enough. So, he stood aside with his head down. He Tian asked again, "By the way, what pen name are you going to use?" Pen name? Tang Pingan was stunned. If he could not submit it, why would he need a pen name? "Yes, I will submit my manuscript to you through some channels, but usually I use a pen name." "You should also think of a cool pen name." He Tian smiled, "Don't worry, you still have 3 days to think about it." Ah, happiness came too quickly. Tang Pingan was a little bit unable to adapt. "Teacher, didn't you return the manuscript to me?" "Then what did you submit?" He Tian smiled and said, "This is your manuscript. How can you submit such a precious thing? Besides, you should keep a copy in your hand in case of emergency. Also, if you become a great writer in the future, these are priceless things. If you say you can't sell them, you can still sell them at a high price. Take the manuscript back and collect them well. I have a copy here." You see, He Tian took out the copy that had been bound neatly. Tang Pingan was moved when he heard what He Tian said, and tears were about to flow down. In the past, his parents always said that he wrote something at random at home, which might bring trouble to the family. Relatives and friends also said that he was delusional. Almost no one was optimistic about him. But after entering university, he met a good teacher. He cared about them in life and guided them in study. Maybe He Tian was not a knowledgeable teacher, but she was definitely a good teacher who was good at expanding students' thinking and encouraging them. There are many knowledgeable teachers, but there are only a handful of teachers who have an open mind like Teacher He. "Thank you, Teacher He." Tang Pingan thanked and bowed to He Tian. "You're welcome." He Tian smiled. "When I gave you the manuscript just now, you were very disappointed and sad, as if you had lost hope. I'm worried about your state. No one knows whether the manuscript can be published. If it fails, the teacher hopes that you will be more courageous than depressed. You are still young. If you have such a strong sense of gain and loss, it will have a good impact on you. As a teacher who gives you advice, I will also feel guilty." Tang Pingan wiped his tears and said, "Teacher He, don't worry. I was disappointed just now, but I won't be depressed." Even in order not to make the teacher feel guilty, he can't be depressed. Just like the teacher said, the more you are frustrated, the more courageous you are. "Okay, work hard, young man." He Tian smiled. "You go back first, and come and tell me when you think it over." "Well, goodbye, Teacher He." Tang Pingan bowed respectfully and left. After Tang Pingan left, Teacher Wu from the same office asked with a smile, "Teacher He, are you really submitting your students' manuscripts? It will cost a lot of money to send it to Hong Kong, and there is no one there, so I guess no one will read it." He Tian smiled and said, "It's important to try. They are my students and they are very talented. I have the ability to help them, so I will do my best. As for spending money, it didn't cost much. I have a relative in Hong Kong. When my family sent her something, they also sent this manuscript over and asked her to help me submit it." When Teacher Wu heard this, he was very envious and said, "I really envy He Tian. You have so many overseas connections. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 791. 789. Teacher Wu's words attracted the attention of other people in the office, and they all looked at He Tian Tian. Haha, no matter how good the relatives are, they are just relatives. Just be polite and reciprocate. There is nothing special, He Tian Tian said, without any pride or show off on his face. Teacher He, I heard that the TVs over there in Xiangjiang are good. Can you bring one to me sometime? Teacher Wu said. She was getting married soon and wanted to buy a color TV, but it was not available in China for the time being. He Tian Tian was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, I won't go, and the TV is so heavy, who can move it here? That's true, Teacher Wu smiled coquettishly. By the way, I heard that the clothes there are good looking. Did you buy all your clothes there? No, He Tian Tian replied, they are all sent from abroad by my grandmother and mother. Ah, Teacher Wu was stunned again, your grandmother and parents are abroad. Which country are they in? America, He Tian Tian replied. Oh, Teacher He, why don't you go abroad with me? I heard that there are high-rise buildings, people living in luxury, and cars running all over the place, Teacher Wu said enviously. If her parents were abroad, she would definitely go abroad. Haha, He Tian Tian smiled, don't think so well of foreign countries. I have been to foreign countries. In addition to the material life there being better than at home, the moon is not rounder abroad than at home. So the atmosphere in the office is divided into two groups. Some people say that overseas is better, and some people say that domestic is better. Our teacher He Tian Tian is already ready to go to class. The next day, Tang Ping'an came to the office and said to He Tian Tian, Teacher He, I can't think of a good pen name. Please think of one for me. Yeah, He Tian Tian was stunned, then smiled, I'm afraid the pen name I came up with is not a good one. It's okay. I like whatever name Teacher He chooses, Tang Ping'an said, looking at He Tian Tian expectantly. He Tian Tian thought for a while and said, how about February red? It is taken from the frost leaf red in February flowers. Although the February flowers are beautiful, the maple leaves that have experienced wind and frost are even more beautiful and strong. February red, Tang Ping'an was thinking about his conscience and nodded, thank you, teacher, for using this name. Okay, I'll send it to you tomorrow. He Tian Tian smiled and said, study hard and create hard. Opportunities are always reserved for those who are prepared. Teacher, how much is the postage? Tang Ping'an asked. Teacher He had already helped him a lot, and he could not continue to spend Teacher He's money. He Tian Tian smiled and said, the postage is not much, it is sent together with the things. Even if I don't submit the article, I will send things to my friends. It's just by the way. Don't think too much about it. When you publish it, give me this signed book. Teacher He, Tang Ping'an was a little embarrassed. Okay, you can go back. While working hard, you should also pay attention to your health. It is best to get up every morning and go for a run. You are too weak. He Tian Tian reminded that if you want to go far on the road of creation, you must have a good body and good living habits. Well, I wrote it down, thank you teacher, He Tang Ping'an said gratefully. Regardless of whether it will be published or not, he would thank teacher He. He Tian Tian mailed the things to Xie Weining, because Xie Weining's mother-in-law owns a publishing house, and she also has shares in that publishing house. At the same time, Xie Weining will also write something and publish it. Instead of submitting this wind and cloud to those big publishing houses and newspapers and waiting to be selected among the many manuscripts, it is better to go through this way and maybe have more chances to get ahead. He Tian Tian also wrote a letter to Xie Weining, asking her for help. If the novel is good, it will be treated equally and given the opportunity to publish it. Tang Ping'an has high hopes for the novel, and so does He Tian Tian. She hoped that her efforts would not be in vain, and that Tang Ping'an's hard work would be rewarded. He Tianation's expectations and Tang Pingan's hopes flew to Xiangjiang with this small parcel. Although Xie Weining teaches mathematics, she is also an artistic young woman at heart. Otherwise, she would not have asked her parents to name the shares of the publishing house as a dowry when she got married. You must know that the Xie family has many businesses that make money, and publishing is just an industry with very little profit. Xie Weining received a letter from He Tiantian. After reading the letter, she realized that it was a novel written by one of her students recommended by He Tiantian. My dear, Tiantian is so enthusiastic. She is submitting articles to her students. Xie Weining smiled. She usually exchanged letters with He Tiantian and had a good relationship. Qian Zhijao smiled and said, we are cooperating more and more with He Tiantian. Whether your husband and I can take our careers to the next level depends entirely on He Tiantian and Huo Yingjia, so my wife, please take a closer look. If you are qualified to publish, please give He Tiantian some respect. It is rare for a teacher to value his students so much. If you don't tell me, I will do the same thing. Xie Weining asked, if it's not well written, she won't introduce it to me. This is a martial arts novel. I'll read it first. If it's good, I'll read it first. Serialized in the martial arts magazine under the publishing house. Okay, you can figure it out yourself. Qian Zhijao said, I went to attend the family dinner at my parents' house with you a few days ago, and my father-in-law finally looked at me. Haha, I knew you would definitely get my father's approval. Xie Weining said, you are so good. So I never worry. Qian Zhijao was even happier after hearing his wife's encouragement and affirmation. Xie Weining took the time to read this novel and was immediately amazed. After reading it in 2 days, she immediately requested that it be typed and serialized in a magazine owned by the publishing house. Xie Weining replied to He Tiantian and sent a generous new contract. 70,000 words. Because of He Tianation's relationship, Xie Weining's conditions were also very loose, but there was one thing: under the same conditions, she would have priority to sign a contract with her publisher for the next book. He Tiantian was very happy when she got the contract. She read it up and down several times. It was very loose and fair. I saw that the contract passed over was in traditional Chinese characters. Fortunately, the martial arts novels Tang Pingan had read before were all brought from Hong Kong, and they were all in traditional Chinese characters. This guy also likes to delve into research, so he writes novels in traditional Chinese without the hassle of converting between them. Although simplified Chinese characters are promoted nowadays, many people still use traditional Chinese characters. He Tiantian personally asked Tang Pingan to come to the office, took out the contract and said, Tang Pingan, there is already news, this is the contract. If you think there is no problem, you can sign it, and then you will send out 100,000 manuscripts, you can get a royalties of 7,000 yuan. This is only for serialization. If it is published later, there will be subsequent royalties. The price will not be determined until the serialization is completed. Ah, Tang Pingan was stunned. Teacher, can the martial arts novel I wrote really be published? Well, He Tiantian nodded, you have seen the contract, right? Of course it is true. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 792. 790. Tang Pingan finally believed that he heard correctly. Thank you, teacher He, thank you, teacher He. Tang Pingan said excitedly, what I wrote has been published, and it can be published. Yes, calm down first. He Tiantian chuckled, I have more important things to say. You previously wrote 100,000 words. According to the contract, you can serialize 2 chapters a week for 2 months. Yes. How many novels have you written? Can you keep up? I can keep up. I already have 50,000 manuscripts. Tang Pingan said, it will take another month to write 100,000. This book has a total of 300,000 words. After hearing this, he Tian nodded and said, "Okay, then I'm relieved. Then sit down now and take a good look at the contract. If there is no problem, you can sign it." Yes, Tang Pingan sat down and read the contract carefully. If he encountered something he didn't understand, he Tian would ask for leave. He Tian knew better and tried to explain it to Tang Pingan as carefully as possible. Tang Pingan thought it was good, nodded and said, "Teacher, I think it's okay. You can sign now." He Tian handed over a pen and Tang Pingan signed. He Tian put away the contract and said, "Tang Pingan, you are now the one who signed the contract. In the future, the novels you write must be kept confidential and cannot be seen by others at will. Do you understand what I mean?" Tang Pingan nodded and said, "I know, thank you, teacher." Then you go back, he Tian said, "they will remit the money to you when they receive the contract. Then you can directly deposit the remittance in your bank book." Yeah, Tang Pingan was excited. He had 7,000 Hong Kong dollars, which was more than 2,000 yuan converted into RMB. With these 2,000 yuan, my family can build a big house, and my younger siblings can continue their studies. He Tian acted quickly and got off work early to send it. However, there is no airtight wall. Even if Tang Pingan doesn't say it, it doesn't mean that other teachers don't know. Many people know that Tang Pingan's novel was published in a magazine in Xiangjiang. Many people complimented Tang Pingan, and some spoke sourly. However, Tang Pingan always remembered He Tianation's words and wrote novels in school in a low-key manner, not caring about the outside world. After Xie Weining got the contract, she arranged for serial payment. After Tang Pingan received 7,000 yuan, he deposited 3,000 yuan in his bank book, and then mailed another 3,000 yuan to his family. At the same time, he sent a telegram to his family, with the royalties, "I can build a house and my brothers and sisters can study." This amount of money is already a huge amount of money for Tang Pingan. Not only can he do what he likes to do, but he can also make money and support his family. This is great. He will have to work harder to write in the future. Tang Pingan bought some gifts and delivered them to teacher He's home in person. Zhou and Huo Jekan are at home. He Tian cooked and asked her father-in-law to chat with Tang Pingan. Huo Jekan happened to be at home, and he was overjoyed when he heard that he was the author of the novel Wind and Cloud. "How many books have you written?" Huo Jekan asked. He read part of it and couldn't forget it. 60,000 words have been written, Tang Pingan said cautiously. "Mr. Huo, have you also read my novel?" "I've seen it. Your teacher brought it over and said it looked good. I was a little curious and wanted to take a look," Huo Jekan said. "It's really good, but in front of you, I also want to say sorry for not asking for your permission. I read your manuscript. It's an honor for me to be attracted by Mr. Huo." Tang Pingan smiled, feeling very happy that his novel was liked by others. "I heard it has been published. When you publish the book, be sure to leave me the complete copy," Huo Jekan said. "You also need to sign it for me. When you become a great writer, this signed book will become famous." "Thank you, Mr. Huo," Tang Pingan said. "If it is published, I will definitely give you a book." He Tian was very pleased with Tang Pingan's personal thanks. No matter what happened in the future, at least Tang Pingan would remember her as a good teacher. He knew etiquette and didn't help him in vain. What He Tian values is not money, but talent and respect, which satisfies her mentality of being a teacher. In just 2 issues of the magazine, we received a lot of letters from readers. Xie Weining collected these letters and sent them all to He Tian, along with 2 magazines. He Tian handed everything to Tang Pingan and said, "Tang Pingan, I will give you MSC's contact information. You can contact him directly, including signing contracts, collecting money, sending manuscripts, and collecting magazines. These you know it, you can do it yourself. If you don't understand something, you can ask me. As long as I understand it, I will tell you. If I don't understand it, I will ask others and tell you. Tang Pingan was stunned and asked, Teacher, is MS easy to get along with? He Tian smiled and said, MS I'll treat you badly. Oh, I remembered it, thank you, teacher, he Tang Pingan said gratefully. Teacher, he opened a window for her, allowing him to see the outside world. He Tian thought for a while and said, by the way, there are two addresses here, one is the address of MS's publishing house, and the other is her private address. If someone asks you for your address and hopes to submit articles like you did, you can tell the publisher's address, just write down the private address yourself. Tang Pingan instantly understood that during this period, people had been asking where he published, and he didn't know how to reply. Now we have the address of the publishing house. If anyone wants it, he will give it to him. Tang Pingan returned to the classroom and received everyone's attention gift. Yuan Hua stood up and said with a smile, Yuan Hua, congratulations. You are holding two traditional Chinese magazines in your hands. Is your novel published in them? Facing the cheerful, generous, and enthusiastic Yuan Hua, Tang Pingan felt a little shy, nodded and said, yes, I just received it. Can you lend it to us to read? Yuan Hua asked. Let us also read the magazines from Xiangjiang to broaden our horizons. Others also echoed, saying, yes, Tang Pingan, we are all classmates, just show us. Tang Pingan also wanted to mingle with his classmates. This was a good opportunity and said, okay, you can take a look first. Tang Pingan lent the book to Yuan Hua, and when others saw this, they also came to pick it up. Please take it and circulate it, but please take care of it. I haven't read it either. Tang Pingan smiled gently, not feeling proud just because he published a novel. Yuan Hua flipped through it, but didn't see Tang Pingan's name, so he asked, Tang Pingan, your name is not on it? Which article was written by you? My pen name is February Red. Tang Pingan said, it is taken from the red leaves of frost in February flowers.